So in this video, I'll be doing more word problems involving linear equations. I don't know why this book decided to separate this section with the previous section. It's pretty much the same. We're going to be using the model quantity is equal to rate times time. Okay, and I'm back to this format where I'm going to be solving the problems live and on paper. And I feel like I prefer filming like this instead of on slides. I don't like that format as much, even though it's a little more organized and can look nicer. Okay, so the first one here, it gives us this table, and it says, Jason and Mary are running on a 200-meter track. The expressions in the table above show the distance to the finish line t seconds after they started the race. How many meters will Mary have left to finish the race when Jason is on the finish line? So go ahead and try this problem first. Go ahead and pause the video and unpause it when you have given it your best shot. Okay, so how I'm thinking of this problem is distance is rate times time, essentially. The rate is meters per second in terms of the distance left to the finish line. Okay, that's why it's negative and not positive. It's with respect to, because this is distance to the finish line, so the distance should be decreasing. That's why it's negative. The rate of change is negative. And this is the initial distance from the finish line. So that's why you can see they're both the same. That kind of makes sense, right? In a race, you don't want to have someone starting later or like someone starting closer to the finish line than another. That's kind of unfair, right? So it makes sense that the initial distance is the same. Their rates are different though. So that's why they're asking, how many meters will Mary have left to finish the race when Jason is on the finish line? Jason is on the finish line when the distance d is equal to 0. So let's write that equation. So 0 is equal to Jason is minus 8t plus 200. Okay, so we solve for t, for the time he finishes. So it would be 8t is 200. So t is 200 divided by 8. If you don't have a calculator here, you can do this one by hand. If you divide by 4, that would be 50 over 2, or that is 25, what's the unit here? Seconds. Okay, remember to use your units to help you out. Okay, so Jason finishes after 25 seconds. So what's the distance from the finish line that Mary will be at? That's what the question is asking. So we're going to plug in this value of t into this one. So it'll be minus 7.5 times 25 plus 200. And if you do this, what would that be? If we don't have a calculator, it'll be minus 7 minus 0.5 times 25 plus 200, right? So this would be, that's minus 175 minus 12.5 plus 200, right? So this is 25 minus 12.5. That is 12.5 meters, and that's your answer. So choice C. Okay, that's how to solve this one. Hopefully you got it. If not, go figure out why, and we'll try it again on the next one. All right, number 2. At a bagel shop, the first 6 bagels purchased cost 55 cents a piece, and additional bagels cost C cents a piece. If a customer paid $5.70 for 12 bagels, what is the value of C? So go ahead and try this yourself first, and let me change the focus of this camera a little bit. I feel like it's a little off. I feel like that's a little better, right? Okay, so go ahead and try the problem, and come back when you have given it your best shot. Okay, so since this person purchased 12 bagels, that means he purchased 6 at the 55 cents a piece, and then 6 at the C cents a piece. Okay, so let's write that down. So let me pull out a piece of scratch tab paper. Okay, so as I was saying, 6 of them cost 55 cents a piece. So 6 times 0.55, 55 cents, plus, and then 6 of them cost C. So, and then the total was 570. Okay, that's my equation right here. And then we want to solve for C. So what is 6 times 55? That's 330, right? So that'll be 3.30 plus 6c is 5.70. 6c would be, what is that? That is 1... Actually, that's 2.40. So C is, it should be 40 cents a piece. So 0.40, that is 40 cents. Okay, so this one's pretty easy. Okay, hopefully you got that. If not, try to figure out why. And we'll try again on this one now. Manny bought C candies at a price of 70 cents each. He sold all but K candies at a price of $1.25 and made a profit of P dollars, which the following represents P in terms of C and K. So this is more symbolic. You don't have to really solve it. You just got to set up the problem in the variables given and the few quantities given. So go ahead and try this yourself first. Okay, so how much did Manny spend to buy the candy? He bought C candies at a price of 70 cents each. So how much did he spend? So he spent 0.7 C. Okay, so he sold all but K candies. So candies sold. How much did he sell? He bought C. He sold all but K. So what does that mean? That is C minus K. He sold that many then. Okay, now he sold them at $1.25 each. So what was his earnings? It'll be C minus K, and he sold them each at $1.25. Okay, so the profit would be how much he spent minus how much he got back, the earnings. I don't know if that's the right term, but it's how much he spent minus how much he got back. So it'll be 0.7 C minus 1.25 C minus K. Sorry, the other way around. Why is that? Well, he spent 0.7 C. So that's out of his pocket. So that's negative now. So let's assume he started from $0. He spent this much, he'll have negative dollars then, right? Not really doable in the real world, but this is just for illustration purpose. Then he gets back some amount, the amount that he sold. Okay, so that's why it's 1.25 C minus K minus 0.7 C. So then which choice is that? That looks like it is A. Okay. David used 1/10 of his monthly salary for groceries and 3/18 of his remaining money for his car payment. He also paid twice as much money for rent as for his car payment. If David has $1,620 left after paying for groceries, car payment, and rent, how much of it is his monthly salary? So go ahead and try this. This one you got to be a little careful. Okay, so it says that David used 1/10 of his salary for groceries. So how much remains after that? So he would have 9/10, 9/10 remaining. Okay, and of that remaining money, so if you remember translating words into expressions, of is multiplying. Okay, so he used 3/18 of his remaining money. So that's that 9/10. So let me actually say it's 9/10 X. So if he has X is his salary, he spent 1/10 times X on groceries. So he has 9/10 times X remaining. So of this remaining amount, he spent 3/18 on his car payment. And it says that he pays twice as much money for rent as for his car payment. So if he spent 3/18 of his remaining money for his car payment, then we multiply this by 2. So he spent 6/18 on rent of the remaining. So let me even draw kind of a chart here, or tree diagram. I think that's what it's called, right? So he spent 6/18 on rent and 3/18 on the car. Okay, if we add these two fractions up, 6/18 plus 3/18, that's 9/18, which is half. He spent half of his remaining money on both rent and car payments, okay? So what's the goal now? Why did I do all this? See, this is the problem for word problems. You got to piece out everything together. So if he has this much left after paying for everything, how much is his monthly salary? Okay, so as I just said, he spent half of his remaining on what was it? Car payment and rent. So 9/10 x times half would be 9/20x. This is how much is left finally. So 9/10 left after he spent it on groceries only, and then 9/20 left of his monthly salary after rent and car payments. So this is equal to our 1620 that's given. He has this much left after paying for all three things. So now we solve for x. X is 1620 times 20/9. Okay, so we can simplify. That's should be 180 times 20, and that is 3,600. Okay, so he initially had his monthly salary is $3,600. Okay, so this one you got to be a little careful by all these things as I was just shown here. So once again, he spent 1/10 on groceries, so he had 9/10 remaining. All right, and of that remaining, he spent 3/18 on his car payments and double that on rent. So that's 9/18, which is half. So of the remaining, half of it was spent on those two, and so half of that remaining is left. So half of, so multiply the remaining 9/10 over x is 1620, and you solve for x. Okay, free response now. In a school election, 680 students voted for one of two candidates for president. If the winner received 120 more votes than the loser, how many votes did the winner receive? So go ahead and try this yourself first. Okay, so instead of using like common variables x and y, if you watched my previous video, I was saying that maybe use letters that are more representative of the scenario. So I'm going to use W and L. W for winning candidate and L for the losing candidate, okay? So the winner received 120 more votes than the loser. So the number of winning votes would be the number of losing votes plus 120. That's what that says right there. And since this is the election, there's 680 students, assuming everyone voted, the number that voted for the winning plus the number that voted for the losing should be 680. Okay, two equations, two unknowns. We can solve it, okay? So we can rewrite this as how many votes did the winner receive? So let's write this as L is 680 minus W. And then we're going to plug this into here. We're going to use the method of substitution. W is equal to 680 minus W plus 120. So 2W is equal to 800. W is 400. So the winning candidate got 400 votes. And that's how we solve this one. Okay? And now the last one, number 6, for this section. If a gas tank contains 15 liters of gas and is 3/8 full, how many additional liters of gas are needed to fill up the tank? Okay, so go ahead and try this yourself. This is actually probably the simplest one in this section. So if we denote the variable x as the amount that the gas tank has when it's full, right now it's 3/8 full. So times 3/8, the amount when it's full times 3/8 should be 15. Okay, And then you just solve for x after that. That would be 15 times 8 over 3, which is 40. But you got to be careful here. Did we answer the question? Okay, so this is a common mistake. If you say, oh, the answer is 40 and you're done, that's not right. Okay, it's asking how many additional liters of gas are needed to fill up the tank. We just found that it's full with 40 liters. Right now it has 15 liters. So we need to fill it with 40 minus 15 liters, which is 25 liters. And that's your answer, 25. Okay, so this is exactly one of the questions where you got to be careful, especially this is free response. If you fill in 40, then that's wrong because you didn't answer the question. This is the amount when the tank is full. They're asking for how many liters you need to fill it up to full, which is 25. Okay, and that's it for this set of problems. Here, how'd you do? Hopefully you got some good practice out of this, and if you got stuck on any of them, hopefully my explanations made sense. As always, please like and subscribe if you found any of this helpful, and please look out for the next video. Let's take a peek at what it is. It's going to be more word problems, but now they involve a system of equations. So please look out for that when I solve these problems in that video.